We want to take a moment to bring you a sad update about a beloved member of the wider ABC family. It is with a heavy heart that we bring you the news that veteran ABC broadcaster James Valentine has died. James began his career in the mid-80s hosting children's TV programme The Afternoon Show, before cementing his career hosting afternoons on 7:02 ABC Radio Sydney for more than 20 years.
It is really sad news. James spent his early 20s in the rock band The Models and continued to play the saxophone, performing with jazz bands up until last year. James announced his retirement from radio earlier this year to concentrate on fighting his second bout of cancer. A little later on the show, in fact, pretty soon, we're going to be speaking to one of his former colleagues, but we wanted to first take that moment to reflect on his life.
Hi, and welcome to the very first afternoon show. I'm James Valentine. But even in the city, it's possible to taste bush tucker. There you go, took about 30 seconds to make. Looks beautiful. Good evening, welcome to Racket. Let me introduce the Racket team. The Strangler Plan. We look at what's new, but in fact, this week we're looking at what's old. Ian, as Vegemite attempts to reinvent itself, what do you think they should do?
People walk up to me and just start talking like they're my best friend. They are.
And then salt and vinegar chips.
Absolutely.
Nice. If you've got any questions or queries about the beast in your life. What I'm going to do in breakfast, I haven't a clue. Brave the nude swim and the Ferris wheel of death.
I'm a peculiar fish, and so to find a pond that I could sit in was really good. It was unbelievable, really, that I got to do this and got to do it for so long.
I want to bring some more, get some more on this sad news about James. And Sarah McDonald was a long-time colleague and a friend of James as well, and she joins us now from Sydney. Sarah, welcome to News Breakfast.
Thank you, James.
So many people, especially in Sydney, knew of James Valentine and how talented he was as a broadcaster. What was he like as a colleague and a friend?
Look, what he was like on the radio was what he was like as a friend and a colleague. He was witty, he was clever, he never looked at life front on. He always came to it from all different fabulous ways, around and upside down, and James's perspective on things was just always unique and brilliant, and so many people will be mourning today, not just his colleagues but all those listeners who he was with for 25 years. You know, kids grew up to him, people grew old to him, and he was just interwoven in their lives. Yeah,
just like a companion almost when you used to listen to him. Tell us about the saxophone and his link to that, because I think a few people might not know that he was actually in The Models, a well-known Australian band, of course.
Yeah, of course he was, yeah. And, you know, that was the sound of the 80s. Some of his solos in The Models, like Out of Mind, Out of Sight and Barbados, and, you know, that made him cool. But, you know, James was a big dag. We used to, you know, he was like... It was just, he loved his saxophone, but, you know, that's what he also did on the radio. You know, he was improv jazz. He was using jazz on the radio where you use the rules of music to actually do a radio show where you improvise and then you let other people have their time in the spotlight, and those were the listeners who would play along with him. He was kind of like the jazz conductor.
There's so many people, of course, you know, you build your own relationship with broadcasters, particularly, I think, on radio, because they're in such intimate places with you as you go about your day. Of course, he had a life outside ABC as well. Tell us about his family. His family... We're a really close and very loving family, and Joanne, his beautiful wife, and his kids, Roy and Ruby, are just, they were, you know, I mean, we were rave about him on the radio and we had a tribute to him, and I said to him afterwards, you know, your greatest creation wasn't the radio, it was your kids, and he said, of course it was, and he was so proud of them, he adored them. And they're a very, very, very loving family. And I'm just grieving for them so much today. And the radio listener family will be grieving as well, because he was a very, you know, he could be
a little bit sarcastic. His wit was very dry, but he was very loving and he was very tender, especially so in the last year or so. I feel he kind of taught us how to live as he was facing the end.
That's a lovely message, Sarah. Before I let you go, what's his legacy going to be, do you think?
He has an enormous legacy. He was the master of radio. He should be the shining light of what to do, because he had people share the spotlight with him on the radio. He could get the stories out of people. I mean, you're talking about bins. James would talk about, this is what I live with, or he'd talk about modern etiquette. Is it okay to put stuff in my neighbour's bin? You know, he could make you laugh like a drain about bins. He got the creativity out of people. In lockdown, he lifted us through that. He got people to design T-shirts, including this one that was the winning T-shirt of Sydney's lockdown. His creativity and his brilliance and his wit and his imagination and his intelligence and his ability to create community is something that I think anyone who wants to go into radio should really study, and good luck emulating it, because he was the maestro.